right, it is 7 o'clock. Who are we turning this over to?
Terry Maurer. So you can turn it over to me first.
Right. Hello and welcome to the Shippensburg Area School District Committee of the Whole. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. August.
Thank you, Ms. Eberly. A light committee agenda tonight. We didn't have a facilities meeting, which can often generate a lot of things for our committee of the whole, but we do have something I'm particularly interested in and proud of. Mrs. Mowry from the intermediate school is here to talk about an event they had at their school near the end of the year. So we'll turn it over to Mrs. Mowry to talk about the Greyhound Gallery.
Thank you. I will.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about some positive things that were happening at the intermediate school this year. I'd like to start out by talking about the Greyhound Gallery. And what you have in front of you is the newspaper article that was published by Kim Spencer for us. She attended the event and took some pictures and got to talk to teachers, students, and parents that also attended the event. So the Greyhound Gallery, it was an idea that was generated last summer as a, let's try something new. And then as we started the school year, I attend all the PTO meetings, and we started talking about ways to showcase student work. And not only student work, but things that students are proud of. And it didn't necessarily have to be something from school. What are they dedicated to? What are they involved in? What makes them motivated, engaged, and proud of the work that they're doing? So we talked about it, and we talked about it, and we talked about it, and then the teachers got involved, and then the students got involved. And so the Greyhound Gallery was something that happened with the students being able to select something that they were proud of. And it could have been anything. It could have been an essay. It could have been a test. It could have been growth on an assessment. It could have been, something from art or music or, some project that they did. Some of the interesting things that came into school that were not school-oriented were trophies. There was a student that brought a trophy this big from dirt biking. He was really proud of that and wanted to show his friends and show his classmates and his teachers about that. Different Lego projects. There was a huge Lego Titanic display that someone had made, and those things take a long time to do, so that student was very proud of that. But there were so many different projects, and the projects were lined in the hallways. And then we took it a step further and had teachers there that evening, and they were showcasing some of the things that they are doing in their classrooms and talking to parents and students about not only what we're doing and the purpose of it, but got to showcase our 3D printers that we have in 5th grade. Parents were very interested in what students were making and how they were designing things in the classroom. And so all of that really led into another discussion about the profile of a graduate. And that's something we've been working on this year with a committee of teachers going to the university and talking about how we can integrate some of these ideas into everyday life at the intermediate school. So it all kind of fits together and is something that we can talk about and generate ideas for engagement and motivation with students. And then when they see it, they hear it, and they do things, then next year, our next steps, we'd like to do this Greyhound Gallery again, but we want to do it after the PSSAs, after some of the projects, maybe the more projects that are done at the end of the year, that maybe they want to showcase that. So we're trying to wrap it up into an event like Book Fair Night, when so many people come to that event to generate a lot of parent engagement that evening. So We are very proud of that event. And one of the things that we mentioned, and as parents and students got there that evening, they were greeted with a profile of a graduate. So our committee has generated what we call the profile of a Greyhound for our students. And this is something that hangs in the lobby at the intermediate school because we wanted the profile of a graduate verbiage to be in kid-friendly language, so they knew what they were working toward and they knew what they were doing. And so we had a group of teachers meeting parents there in the lobby, talking to them of what they thought being a communicator was, what they thought being a critical thinker was, and it was able to generate parents and students sharing their thoughts about the profile of a graduate. So it was really neat to be able to see that conversation happen and have the parents and students talking to our teachers about that. And so you do see this and you hear this every day with a profile of a graduate information. Not only do you just see it on a poster, we have our profile of a graduate committee has generated monthly components, and every classroom has these components posted in their classroom. And so then we decided that what a better way to highlight what they're doing by also adding this to our PBIS assembly at the end of each month. So we are honoring and celebrating students for being collaborators, communicators, critical thinkers, innovative, being resilient, all the things that we want our students to be able to not only to be able to do, but to be able to feel. And so we are very excited about that. We also renamed all of our hallways as our components of the profile. And so you do see it, you hear it, and the students are celebrated for it. And so it all kind of wraps up together in the Greyhound Gallery because you have to be a critical thinker in order to design and have something 3D print correctly. You learn a lot from the mistakes, but the design process is there. Being resilient is, maybe you did something wrong or maybe something didn't work out the way you wanted to. How can you fix it? And so they're all different components of this plan that really came out in the Greyhound Gallery. So it was a really neat evening, and we're looking forward to doing it again.
Thank you.
Just a couple things to add on to Mrs. Mowry's presentation. First of all, kudos to her and the team at SACE. They drove right into finding ways to have common language and common understanding. And anytime we're trying to do the profile of a grad or something new, there is a tendency sometimes to not adopt it right away. But the first step is to develop that common language and common understanding. And SACE has done an outstanding job. They've married it to their PBIS, which I think was a master stroke. Layered it on top of something they were already doing. In education, we're often accused of one more thing. And so, when you combine two things, it's really just one thing. So that was a great strategic move. The other thing I would point out is, our goal is not to have just the profile of a grad or profile of a Greyhound, to stand on the wall or to be something we talk about. It's to be something we're working on and in combination with our mission statement of designing, engaging, and intellectually demanding and challenging work, they fit together great. And so being able to have artifacts to show parents and to show the students themselves that they are mastering or moving to mastery of the elements of the profile of a grad is just phenomenal and is what exactly we need to do. The vision, which may take years to get to, is that we develop portfolios for kids where they take us through or can articulate where they have evidence of their learning along these lines. And so it's not about reinventing the wheel, it's about adapting the things that we're already doing, using the profile of a grad to focus as a lens, to make sure that those skills are part of the things we're putting in front of kids, and that we generate an artifact that proves that they are truly mastering these skills. So I just can't say enough about SACE and the team there and Mrs. Mowry for moving this forward. We've never had an event like this previously.
Many years ago, we had the Learning Luau. It was a Title I event, and many parents came to that event, but it was more of a learning night instead of a showcase. And so this is a complete shift in that, that it is showcasing the student work and allowing students to share with not only their parents, but also their classmates what they're proud of. And it was also, a couple of weeks ago, we also had another smaller showcase with the gifted students. Mrs. Kirkpatrick, she brought in the 3rd and the 4th grade gifted students, and they got to showcase and show each other and their parents what they were proud of and what they had worked on. So I think that this is starting a movement. I know at K-3, they've also had some of these same things, showcase events where where students are allowed to show what they've been working on, and then it brings the parents in and allows them to see what their students are learning.
And I would just follow up by saying, when we have an authentic audience for our kids when they're working on things, that changes the dynamic, that ups the ante. If it's not just something you're doing for your teachers or you're doing for school, when you have to, when you have to talk about it in front of people, that helps improve the quality and the engagement of the kids. So, again, just kudos to SACE and all the buildings that are working on this. These are the positive, intentional steps that we're taking as a district to actualize the profile of a grad and work on our district goals of engagement and student well-being in terms of being proud of the work that you do, and making school meaningful for kids. Additional questions for Mrs. Mowry?
Not a question, but a comment. Thank you. So to you and all your staff who worked and kind of, as Mr. August said, dove into this. So how old is Profile of a Grad? 2 years, roughly?
Roughly 2.5.
And I think you were a part of that committee as well. We included from the board our outreach committee, and we had teachers and administrators and community members and business leaders and everything else. And it was like this big collaborative think tank of people who came up with those things that we wanted kids. So I always looked at the profile of a grad, and it was like a reminder that kids aren't just a test score. And that's one thing that always really stood out to me, is that kids aren't just a test score, and none of those, maybe there was a grade attached to some work, but the skills that are being taught there that we want kids to have, that's not measured in a 0 out of 10 score. That's something that those kids can take with them the rest of their life and be beneficial members of society. So I love the buy-in. I think it's great. Probably a lot of times, I don't know, school boards or whatever kind of say, here, do this, and here's your job. We want you to do this, but I think that you guys have definitely bought in, and that's great. Thank you.
Well, I will absolutely say this is a committee. It's not just me. And I do a lot of listening when we're at the university, and the committee that we have of teachers that go there, they are the think tank. And they are the ones that are saying, hey, we could do this, or let's try that, and taking a risk. And so I've been very proud of them, and proud of them as they have presented to the faculty. They have stood up at the faculty meetings and presented this information to their colleagues. And when it is generated and the ideas are coming from your faculty about ways you can integrate it without, with the things that you're doing already, That's when the collaboration occurs. And so it's been nice to listen to them and see them work together.
And Mrs. Mallory kind of opened the door a little bit to talk a little bit about, I believe this may have been part of a conversation that happened at the university.
Yes.
So we have teams that go and work with the ed leadership team at the university. They host us there, and it's kind of like a mini professional development / collaborative time led by the university, and it's been interesting to see the different levels that we take there, and how each one is tackling how to really bring the profile of a grad to life in their own building, in their own way. And I think some of the most valuable parts of that are when they're sharing ideas or giving feedback on the plans that the individual levels are coming up with. I think that's a critical piece. And our ethos has been freedom within fences for our buildings, to figure out how best to implement the profile of a grad, as opposed to a top-down directive. You need to do it this way and in this manner. And I think that's, we've had some inertia, but the ball is definitely rolling. And I think the more that things like this are tried, and I need to say this part too. This was a risk, and that's the other part that we're asking our principals and our teachers to do. Take big swings, take big risks, and this one was, I think, a home run. I think out of at the first at bat. So we can't wait. I can't wait to see where it goes, and it's certainly a blueprint for us to build off of. So thank you, Terry.
Welcome. Thank you.
So they're like, whoa, that's loud. There's like a critical thinking hallway at the intermediate school now.
Thinker hallway, yes. Yes, it was a work in progress. Our first hallway that we named was the collaborator hallway, and we did it with a Cricut. And oh my, it took a long time. And so then we thought about it and said, what are we doing? We can order these sticky letters off of Amazon, and we can put them up there a heck of a lot easier. And so we did that on a Saturday, and got all the rest of the hallways named. So yes, they're all renamed. If you're at the intermediate school, they are on the placards at each hallway, and it's just another way for students to hear it and see it every day as they're in their classrooms and in the hallways.
It's really creative. So do you say so turn left into critical thinking hallway, and then Mrs. Whoever's class will be on your left?
Mm-hmm. Still be lost.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
And I would just maybe close up by saying, the strategy that we're employing is really kind of, pushing the elementary levels, to kind of take these first big swings, because it builds expectations. When students have had this kind of experiences and they have this kind of language, then as they matriculate through the system, it builds that energy and interest at the next levels. So which will look entirely different. But again, I'll just say one more time, what these teams have done has been fantastic.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Mallory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item, if you want to pull up, we have one change order to discuss. This came out from SiteLogic and ECI. It is when you do the middle school construction. This has to do with the countertop in the middle school office. When they removed it, they found some additional problems and some gaps and things that needed that the counter that was going to go in was not going to work. So they need to readjust. They needed to readjust that, and then also there are some exterior finishings that are also of the same vein. I think it's called Drivet. or exterior insulation finish system around the outside of the building is not where it needs to be. They discovered this issue, and so this is the foam insulation with several coats and colored and textured finish. It was missed in the drawings, which were currently showed exposed block. So it's an issue that we need to make sure we address, make sure that it's insulated correctly and it looks good. So there was negotiation back and forth between the contractor and SiteLogic, and the increase of this is $16,165.
Still within our little
It is.
line item of change orders.
Correct. We'll defer to Mr. Barwin.
You say that's all the change orders?
This is the latest change order, Jim.
The countertop and everything there, 16,000 some odd dollars.
So 4,000 for the 4,343 for the countertop, labor for that, and then this exterior touch up that was missed.
Was mostly the exterior stuff.
I think it's actually mostly this countertop.
Oh, wow. An expensive countertop.
Well, I apologize. I'm not sure where that 7,000 is, if that's for both or just for the countertop. Any questions?
Getting a lesson, that's all.
What's that?
It's getting a computer lesson, that's all.
No worries. So there is some, normally we would have discussed this in facilities and made a recommendation to approve. The contractors are on high alert to be able to finish. So is there consensus to move this forward and do a formal approval at the next board meeting? Any other discussion on that?
Is it on discussion for tonight?
Well, not having the facilities kind of made it, we would have gone from facilities to action on something this.
So this is would kind of replace the discussion portion, and then it would be for action next meeting.
So what we've done with change orders is recommendation out of the facilities committee to approve it, put it immediately on action, because these are time sensitive and we need to keep the project rolling. So we've been, if the committee's recommending it, we've been moving it to action on a number of occasions, to get full board approval.
Was it on action for tonight?
It's in the committee of the whole for now. I guess what I'm asking is, is the board comfortable with, like, now that we've discussed it, like a retro approval to keep the process going, or do you want to put it on for the 23rd for formal approval?
And
So it would have been on action today if we had had the
do you
facilities meeting.
do you have like a slotted place on the agenda tonight to make a amendment tonight or to add it?
I don't.
Is there anybody opposed to adding it tonight?
I'm not gonna vote on it. I'd like to look over this a little bit more. I'm just being aware of it right now, so, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just I'd like to look at it a little bit more and try to vote on it right now. It's just me.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what other board members' thoughts are.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. If we have the money for it and it means moving the project along, I'm happy to amend the agenda tonight if we need to vote on it tonight and get it moving.
Is Kirk coming?
No, he's in Jersey. Might dial in for the meeting. He was on the road between Jersey and northern Pennsylvania for the next job. Well, I guess my only question is, what is this why is this coming up now? Is a change
Right,
order
this
the
was-
countertop? Is it something that wasn't already on schedule to get done? Or is this?
I think during the demolition, my understanding is they found, as they were tearing things apart, they found this issue with the countertop. So, and then there was negotiation between our construction management team and ECI to hammer out a reasonable price. SiteLogic feels that this is, they're recommending and have vetted it as a viable price for.
Replacing one, they're putting in a new one that wasn't there.
Install a new countertop. So it's a new countertop.
I guess I still don't understand, why does it come up now that would.
When was the last facilities meeting?
It was to be last Thursday, and then the one before would have been 2 weeks before. So it was in between the last one we had and the one we were to have on Thursday. This came up. It was on that agenda for discussion at facilities.
You're telling me that just whatever they tore out, now this countertop won't fit, or what? Well, I guess I'm lost too with that. I mean, they know they had to replace the countertop, but what?
I think that when they found out so my understanding is there's large gaps that were found existing in the countertop. So
And
the
wait,
the
so
proposed countertop was not going to work. So they had to get a new, I guess, larger or differently configured countertop to bridge these gaps to make it work.
So if someone who went through a kitchen remodel 2 years ago versus, I'm sure these countertops are 30+ years old. I'm sure there's.
I'm sure they're, with our history, I'm sure
There's
they're
been
original
some
equipment.
shifting, because I remember the swing sets over at Nancy Grayson were older than Charlie Suiters, as he's mentioned. So if the swing sets are the same age as the countertops, I know that you even often have to even replace the base when it comes to the tops. I mean, I hear what you're saying, Jim, of,
I'm not saying they don't need replaced. I guess my thing is, if it was a countertop there and they're just replacing the countertop, what gaps are there? I guess that's where I'm lost.
I haven't personally seen it, Jim, myself.
I don't know. I mean, to me, if they're replacing it, they should be able to just put the other countertop right back on there.
And I believe that's not possible. That's why we have the change order.
They're replacing the cabinets and everything?
I don't believe this looks like cabinet replacement. It's just
No
the
cabinets
countertop.
underneath the countertop, it's just a
I think
countertop.
they still work, apparently.
I don't know. I'd like to look at it a little bit more before I vote on it.
Okay, I mean, we can throw it on, I mean, if there's consensus or.
Does it, I mean, how much does this delay everything?
I mean, it's gonna be 2 weeks minimal that work can't go.
So, yeah, I mean, I have no idea how to read a blueprint, but I trust our experts, and so if they think we need to do this, and we pay them a lot of money to do it, I'm happy to go with them. And if it gets the project moving along, I say put it on the action agenda for tonight.
So is the total cost the $4,343?
No, the total cost for this entire change order appears to be $16,165.
Is any of this covered that's already budgeted for the change orders?
Yeah, there's a line item for change orders for the
Right.
project.
So we already have the money budgeted to pay for it too. So we're not going over budget.
How much more money do we have available for these change orders? Like, how close are we to like hitting that red
I'd
line?
have to look. I think it's, so this is the high school, middle school project, so it's separate than like the change orders we would have seen for like the stadium or the loop, because it's a separate project. So I don't think there was many change orders for this high school, middle school.
There haven't been.
Yeah.
Most of the change orders that we've been dealing with have been for the stadium.
And then there was the water vault, which is
The water vault, yeah.
The water bowl?
Vault.
So the change orders we've had for this project are my understanding is the water vault, and then, remember, we needed to go to 5 feet on the sidewalks instead of 4. And then I believe this is the third one that I can recollect. So we haven't been change order crazy in this project to date.
And we're capped at some of those change order amounts, right?
Well, I mean, there's that stipulation that we had about approving them, myself, Caleb, and the maintenance director.
I mean, I just know going through a kitchen remodel and just, I mean, maybe kitchen is a little bit different than some of these others, but I mean, if it's budgeted for and we're not over that amount, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would point out our construction manager did say, like, they've vetted it.
But I would like to, I mean, 2 of our facility members are not here this evening, and I would.
Three.
3, yeah, so I mean, I personally would like to wait until we hear from their input as well.
Okay. I'll let the contractors know. All right, as I said, this was kind of a light committee of the whole at this point. That's all the items we had, unless the board has additional items they want to bring up around any committees or any other items from the floor.
Nothing from the floor, but I do believe that the board would like to convene just in preparation for the planning and action and to meet in executive session for personnel.
Okay. So I guess we're.
We are
Yeah, we'll
exiting.
assess.
Nadia play soccer?
Shoot. She was trying to get it.
Me neither.
Top thing that we just left on. Anything more than that? I'm good with that every night.
You've been once.
All right, ready? Hello, welcome back to the Shippensburg Area School District Planning and Action Meeting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jim Bard,
Here.
Mr. Mike Carey,
Here.
Mr. Levi Kressler,
Here.
Dr. Nathan Goetz, Dr. Michael Lyman,
Here.
Mr. Kirk Noggle, Mr. Fred Scott, Mr. Darren Donovan,
Here.
and Mrs. Steph Eberly.
Here.
Just to clarify, is Mr. Noggle on the phone?
He's not now.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we begin our deliberations this evening, let us once again be reminded of our duty to represent all of the children of this school community, regardless of age, sex, race, or creed, and regardless of need or ability. This meeting is being live streamed and uploaded to the district's YouTube channel. May we now have a moment of silence to reflect on our thoughts, plans, and actions on behalf of the students and the Shippensburg Area School District. And may we also have a moment of silence for Larry Highland, senior, 1955, graduate of Shippensburg Area Senior High School, and John Barner, graduate of the Shippensburg Area Senior High School. Mr. August, are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
Yes, ma'am. We have the general fund treasurer's report was updated from the time of the posting, and a item under my report for our retirees, the slideshow was added as well.
Citizens' comments regarding agenda items. Are there any? No? Okay. Mr. Blunt, student representative report.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I think this is going to be my last report. There's not much going on at the high school here now anymore, so I'm sorry, crushed you all. Graduation was held Tuesday, June 3rd. Congratulations to all those who graduated. And I wasn't at graduation, but all my buddies seemed to have a great time. Many of the clubs here at Sashes finished with their elections in the last couple weeks of school regarding the future officers next year. The two major groups of Minithon and Student Council have all their people in place for next year. And lastly, the PBIS student team hosted an assembly pep rally celebrating the end of the school year on Wednesday, June 4th. Many fun prizes were handed out of the raffles that were taking place, and the crowd of students had a good time. That following Thursday, the amazing students that actually showed up to school on the last day went to the park for a fun celebration day. Many outdoor activities were available, and it was a nice send-off for the students heading into summer. That's all.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. First up, enrollment. I'm happy to say that we're just a little bit over where we were last year in total. Our total in-building number is 3,442 students. At the elementary level, we have 1,172. We have 549 at the intermediate building, and we have 820 at the middle school, and we have 901 in-building at the high school, with 263 students in outside cyber charter, 248 in Keola R's, and 22 students in various placements.
Mr. August, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you happen to have any idea how our kindergarten registration is looking for this?
Actually, I know some of it, but I think Mrs. Donat or Dr. Donat can maybe provide more information. So this was another kind of big swing change that the district did that, it may be a good time to talk about it.
Sure. So we did have our kindergarten screening event. We held it on the last day of school, which is different from prior years. In previous years, we had multiple afternoons and evenings starting in February and ending in early May that families could come to the public library and go through some screening events. This year, instead, we have hosted a Welcome to Kindergarten event on the last day of school where we had parents and their student come. The parents went in one direction and met with the building principal, the school nurse, and other district employees to talk about what families could expect in the upcoming year. And then the students went with our kindergarten teachers, and they had a little mini kindergarten class where they sat on the carpet and they had a story read to them. They had a little activity and drawing, and while the students were doing that, other teachers were evaluating, can you sit still, can you transition, can you follow two-step directions, things of that nature. And I'm really happy to report that our attendance blew us away. We were not anticipating the turnout that we got. Typically, we have about 60% of the families come to the kindergarten screening events. This time we had around 85% to 90% participation of our expected kindergartners. So at this point in time, I think we have about 212 registered, and we still have a couple more coming in over the summer, but it's looking really good.
Excellent.
Any questions on that?
No, I had heard rumors that we had a successful event. That's what I was.
Yeah, and kudos to Dr. Donat and the entire team for thinking differently. This was a financial savings as well. We weren't, paying people into the evenings, and we got far greater turnout. And most importantly, I think a better understanding of who the students are and what their needs and strengths might be from this process. So, thank you for.
I would also add that the students at the end of the event got to take a ride on the school bus. It just helped everybody to kind of take a deep breath and have a positive start to their school experience. I was seeing posts on social media of how much fun kids were having. They got a goodie bag at the end of the day. So it was a really positive event. We're looking forward to replicating it in the future, but making improvements from what we learned this year.
Yeah, thanks for taking a big swing, and the elementary principal I talked to said it was a B+ event, and with things to learn, but they're confident that it will be even better next year. So thank you.
My grandsons loved the kindergarten registration experience, so speaking from advice or experience.
The numbers for this year, are they kind of on par for the previous years, or are we looking a little?
So kindergarten is those things where we don't know until like the first day of school. I think the difference I can see this year is like we have a lot more knowledge, and I have to give out a shout out to Tina in the district office for really pushing enrollment. So we have a better look now of the kids that we're getting, and so 212 is below what we normally get. We're hoping we've captured most of those. We will probably see, I would say, at least 30 to 40 additional kids. Our projections, remember, weren't that high, for this group coming in, and our, in an upcoming meeting, I'll go through where we are with enrollment projections versus actual versus projected, and we've been pretty good between, if you remember, the conservative and the moderate. We are like just like one or two students above the conservative side, which is the lower number. So I'm expecting this to track the same way, but it feels great to have this, to know that this many is coming, and not have so many, last minute enrollments.
But it looks like our lowest, kindergarten's our lowest, other than our 12th graders. So it's like a perfect bell curve.
It is, yes.
With the bubble in first, second, and third, it looks like.
And if the board will just go back to 1F of the agenda approval, so clearly I have the Monday summer brain and we did not approve the agenda. So if we could get a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan, and second by Dr. Lyman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right.
Continuing on, the donation report. Just need to acknowledge the generosity of our community. Monetary donations towards the Minithon Club, which raised over $21,000, which was pretty impressive. And we hope to have that grow next year. But donations from Timber Hill Technology of $780, Craig Service Group of $100, Five Below of $1,305. Donations to the Best Day Ever event, which was a little bit rained out, but we still had a great time there. Kiwanis gave $100, Volvo $500, Nancy Denton $547. The greenhouse account at the high school, Lloyd and Kelly Beer $325, Kelly Beer $810. An anonymous gift of $536. Kelly Beer again with $350 donation. Donation towards the facility dog, Harry, at the intermediate school. From the PTO of $500. Monetary donation to support FFA account at the high school. Durf Con VFW Post 6168, $1,000. And then wrapping it up, monetary donation towards the PBIS account at the middle school, Dublin Gap Church of God, $322 donation. The other item that I'd like to share, Troy, if you're able to bring that up, a retiree. In the last in-service day, we were able to honor our retirees. HR put together a nice and very quick slideshow that I'd like to share with the board. And it was a great send-off for our retirees. You can just scroll through, I guess. I'd like to recognize Deb Etter, LPN, 2 years of service with us at Nancy Grayson. Tina Hamilton, building secretary at Nancy Grayson, 15 years of service. Linda Hawkinsmith, first grade teacher at James Byrd, 16 years of service. Daryl Barnhart, with maybe the best pose of the entire slide deck, 26 years of service with the district. Certainly one we're definitely going to miss working through facilities. Melissa Forrester, special education teacher at the high school, 26 years. Bob McCurdy, first grade teacher, 30 years of service. So one more, I believe. Denise Simmers, art teacher, 35 years of service. It was great to have a chance to recognize these folks the last day of in-service and to see those in attendance get a standing ovation. It was pretty heartwarming. So thanks to all of our retirees. Thanks for making Shippensburg great. We really appreciate you, and best of luck in this next chapter. That concludes my report.
Yay.
Well, thank you. I thought it was a good report.
It was.
You're kind for the retirees, I get it, yes.
It was. The consent agenda. We have item 4A, the approval of minutes, which are attached. 4B, the finance reports and all of the attachments for the bills of payments, financial reports, tax reports, and budget reports. 4C, the River Rock Academy contract, the secondary and elementary. 4D, Diacon Child, Family, and Community Ministries. 4E is the authorization for payment of bills for June and July. And then 4F, we have the personnel for professional and support to include transfers, new appointments, resignations, and changes in hours per day, resignations, promotions, new appointments, and individuals who will be working the extended school year. Is there a motion to approve item 4A through 4E, or any member who wishes to take any portion separate?
Yeah, I'm going to take 4F, number 1, separately.
So there is a motion to take item 4A through 4F separately. Is there a second?
Second.
What's that?
4A through 4F through F1.
For F1.
Okay. And there was a second by Mr.
Mr. Carey.
Carey. Right. All in favor?
Can we get some clarity on, we doing 4A through 4F separate, or just 4F?
I think Mrs. Everly said 4A through 4E first.
4F1.
Oh, I thought you
So
said,
I believe Mr. Donovan's motion was intended to be for F1, correct?
Take it separately.
By itself?
Yes.
That's the motion? Okay.
So we
Well,
are
hang on
voting.
a second.
We need to, it was 4A to 4E first.
Sorry. It
4F.
was
Correct.
4F.
So we need
So
a
he's
first
just
and a
taking, so we're voting on everything except for F1.
Correct.
But we still need to vote to approve that.
Correct.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the only one left to vote for is 4F1.
This be a time to table that motion if we could.
So if you want to entertain a motion to table that item, you would just say
Make a
motion.
motion to table.
So there's a motion to table by Mr. Carey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Donovan. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, so motion made to table 4F1.
can we make a note to bring that back off the table so we don't forget next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bard. Action agenda, item 5A, the job description, head of maintenance. Administration recommends approval of the attached job description for the head of maintenance position. Is there a motion to approve item 5A?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Donovan, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carey. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5B, the Mobile AG Science Agreement, Lab Agreement. Administration recommends approval of the attached contract between Shippensburg Area Intermediate School and PA Friends of Agriculture for the Mobile AG Lab for October 27th, 31st, 2025. The $2,400 cost of the program will be paid out of the SACE activity account. Is there a motion to approve item 5B?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Donovan.
Second.
Second by Dr. Lyman. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just wanted to make a note that Mrs. Allison Davis is in the audience today. For the board, you just hired her for the 4th grade position. So to put a name with a face, I know the board sometimes likes to see who they're hiring, and she was nice enough to be able to come out this evening. So welcome aboard, Mrs. Davis. We appreciate you coming tonight.
Some of us had the luxury of graduating high school with her back in the day. Congratulations, Allison. 5C, we have the general property and liability insurances for the 25-26 school year. Administration recommends approval of the following general property and liability insurance for the 25-26 fiscal school year. It is the price increase of approximately 6% due to the insurable values increasing on existing property and some of the additions and renovations during our construction projects. Is there a motion to approve item 5C?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Carey, second
Second.
by Mr. Donovan. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5D, the 25-26 Homestead Farmstead Exclusion Resolution. Administration recommends approval of the attached 25-26 Homestead Farmstead Exclusion Resolution in conjunction with the 25-26 final general fund balance. Is there a motion to approve item 5D?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Donovan,
Second.
second by Mr. Carey. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 5E, we have the new phone system quote from Xtel. Administration recommends approval of the attached quote from Xtel for the new phone system and yearly support. This will be paid out of the fund balance for the 25-26 year and technology budget for the 26-27 school year. For the 25 year, so the price includes the new phones, paging adapters, unlimited long distance and support. The 25 school year, 26 school year, $93,686.13. In the 26-27 school year, $21,730.80. Is there a motion to approve item 5E?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Carey, second
Second.
by Mr. Donovan. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5F is the press box quote. Facilities Committee recommends approval of the installation of a split unit heat pump to be installed in the press box at the stadium. This is to provide a climate control environment for the servers and electronics in the press box for sound, scoreboard, and future lighting. Unit will be supplied and installers by Wadles Heating and Air. It will be a cost at $3,990 and will come out of the stadium budget. Is there a motion to approve item 5F?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Carey, second
Second.
by Mr. Bard. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5G, we have the fence quote. Facilities Committee recommends approval of making the 4-foot entrance at the scoreboard end of the track to an 8-foot entrance by adding an additional 4-foot gate. This is to accommodate the band and entering and exiting the field during halftime. It'll be a cost of $810. Is there a motion to approve item 5G?
Move to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Bard,
Second.
second by Mr. Carey. Discussion?
This was in comparison to like the other option we had was to
Yeah, those are,
tear everything down.
Yeah,
which was
yeah, there's-
106,000.
yes,
And that was the exterior fence around the entire facility, correct?
correct.
I mean, I'm fine with this. I would love to see a new fence go up at some point, but I'm also just aware that we've,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just for further discussion. I think this is the more immediate problem of
Yep.
I thought
improvement.
those were two separate things. The 4-foot, 8-foot gates right on the end of the fence that's inside that we voted on.
Yeah,
Expand for that. The other one was talking about the outside.
perimeter.
gate
Yeah.
Or
I did-
fixing the big gates.
that's right.
which-
I think that the quote we got just had both options, like we could have added both, but we just went with the one.
The other gate fix was talking about the big gates repair.
The exterior big gates
Yes.
going in.
This was a separate,
This is the inside the perimeter of the track.
Correct.
You know, the field itself.
Yeah.
And the other two options were the gates, to just do the gates, and then like the whole
Everything,
the whole
yeah.
spiel was another option.
I thought there were two different things, because we were gonna vote on whether to do just the gates or do the whole fence, and I don't know where that one,
So I was gonna, again, we were gonna to get clarity through facilities again on exactly what recommendation to bring forward.
okay, so we didn't
This is the more
finish
immediate
that,
one.
bringing that here, that's why
Yeah.
I said this is a different one.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody's gotta play Fred tonight here on the end. of the questions.
Any additional comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5H, we have the stadium flagpole quote. The Facilities Committee recommends approval of the installation of 3 flagpoles by the scoreboard of the stadiums by Bears Sign Services. The price includes 1 40-foot pole and 2 35-feet poles, as well as the poured pads for the installation. It will be the cost of $21,950 and will come out of the stadium budget. And the lighting for the poles will be an additional $1,200, all done in-house. Is there a motion to approve item 5H?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Donovan,
Second.
second by Mr. Bard. Discussion?
Do we know the locations of where they will go?
I don't know now.
They're going right around the,
Near the scoreboard would
yeah,
be my
by the
assumption.
scoreboard, I thought.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, we were going to rely somewhat on the installers to tell us where the best spots were.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the big ticket item of the night is the general fund budget. So administration recommends approval of the attached 25-26 final budget, general fund budget with revenues in the amount of $72,209,036 and expenditures in the amount of $75,145,808. My gosh, let me start that again. $75,145,816. Enactment of the following 25-26 tax rates to 4.5% are required to support the 25-26 general fund budget. Is there a motion to approve item 5I?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Carey. Second.
Second.
Second by Dr. Lyman. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Waiting on Dr. Lyman.
Oh,
Go us. It's a big, I mean, this is probably the most important vote we do all year long, so.
Yeah.
why it's last on our consent agenda.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Mr. Mike Carey,
It's the millage rate.
Yes.
Mr. Levi Kressler,
Yes.
Dr. Nathan Goetz,
Yes.
Dr. Michael Lyman,
Yes.
Mr. Noggles absent, Mr. Scott's absent, Mr. Jim Bard,
Yes.
Mr. Darren Donovan,
Yes.
and Ms. Steph Eberly.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no. Motion passed.
All right, and that brings us to the discussion agenda. Item 6A, we have disposing of outdated textbooks and instruments. Please feel free to stop me if you have questions. 6B, we have the disposal of microscopes. I'm sure Levi Sadie would probably be interested in having one of those. 6C, we have the Shippensburg Area High School Facebook and Instagram, which Mrs. Blake Fritz would be responsible for monitoring. 6D, we have the Franklin County Children and Youth Service Agreement. Question, how does this differ from the other agreement we had with CYS, who were unable to fulfill that obligation when they were housed at SACE?
Can you give me that question again?
So there was a time when we had voted to approve for the CYS to have an office or some space at SACE.
So I believe this is more along the lines of transportation.
Okay.
So the Education Stability Act is for those kids who may be out of district that we have to transport back.
6E, we have the Freedom Christian Academy transportation request. 6F, we have the Newswella renewal agreement.
And what is this?
So it's News ELA, Dr. Donat is.
I read the thing and I couldn't really tell what it was.
Sure, it's a literacy resource that's
Okay,
really
so
highly
it's a
recommended.
curriculum thing? Okay.
Okay.
I couldn't, I didn't know if it was like a let people know what's happening in the district thing. Okay.
Nope, it's
Okay,
definitely
so
for kids.
That was my
We're
guess,
asking-
is that it was a curriculum
Sure.
piece. Okay.
Um, 6G, we have the Shippensburg Area School District Workers' Compensation Renewal. 6H, we have the Special Education Renewal Agreements. 6I, the Operations and Maintenance Service Contracts. 6J is the Next Gen Service Contract for the 25 through the 27 school year. And 6K, we have the Financial Software Contract. And that concludes the discussion agenda. Does anyone need any clarification on any items?
Not clarification, but just a comment on 6C. As much as a personal opinion of social media is it's like nightmare of society in general, but that is a way that that parents get a lot of information. So I would just like to think, I think it's a great idea from Mrs. Fritz to this, because quite honestly, like as a parent, you tell me to get on Skyward, I don't always check in there. So this is just a simple way that I think you can reach a lot of people and celebrate student achievements and events and all those things. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, the more we can tell our stories ourselves, the better.
I think it'd be cool too if students, very supervised students, could participate in that as well.
I think contributing, would certainly be something that Mrs. Fritz would look forward to.
Are there any comments, citizens' comments regarding non-agenda items? Seeing none, board comments, Mr. Carey.
No, not really. Just personal comment on I use my phone to do all this stuff on. The last several meetings, I can't open any attachments. I can get in there and see the agenda. I can see each item of agenda. If I hit any paper clips, it won't open them, and I have no other avenue to view them. I don't know why it stopped doing it. I asked him, he's complained the same thing, so.
Dr. Stevens, are you able to speak to that at all, or?
No, I mean, it's working on other phones. I'm not sure what's going on.
We can have Makeda maybe contact the IU. If they can give you some support.
Can't either. Okay.
iPad, I can get it, but not my phone.
So there seems to be an issue with mobile devices, like phones, because they can do it off of iPads, but not cell phones.
So, sometimes if you log out and log back in, I don't know if you've done that, as a solution. That's what I've been advised. Other times this has come up with mobile phones, is making sure you're logged out and then log back in. Maybe turn the phone off completely. Maybe someone can help us after me.
Do you have Android?
I have Android.
I have Android.
What do you have, Android?
iPhone,
And yours won't open?
it won't open.
Right.
That might be user error.
It's always a question with me.
Mr.
We're not
Kressler.
accusing you of user error, Mr. Carey.
I got a couple things. One, just to comment on the donation report. I know that there are plenty of times that we see lots of wonderful donations from individuals and businesses and stuff. And I started doing the math, and then I ran out of time. But I think we were well over $5,000 that came in donations for tonight. So that's amazing. It's a shout out to our community, because all that money is just directly impacting positive things for our students. So thank you again to all those people, businesses, and individuals. Let's go to the next one. Leo, this is it? Is that what I heard you say?
Oh, no. I'm still going to show up at the meeting, so I don't know if I'm going to have anything else to talk about.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought I was getting my job back, and I guess I'm not. No, you can still steal my thunder. But with that said, if you were around, and there's all kinds of construction going on everywhere, it seems like. But I know this week there's youth baseball camp going on. There's boys basketball camps. As we came in tonight, girls basketball.
Oh, yeah, my brother's
camps are
actually
going
doing
on.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I saw your brother today.
Oh, okay. Was he behaved? you make him do a couple sprints extra? Or?
No, no sprints.
No?
No
Oh.
sprints. No sprints. But there's all kinds of activities going on still. So shout out to all the people who helped organize all of those things, from your head coaches of your programs and coordinated through. I think Sarah through the athletic office did a lot of work toward those things, and it just keeps on going down. And custodians that are in here helping out with stuff we had a spill today, and someone helped us out. So, cool things going on and opportunities for kids. What else? I attended graduation last week. It's always probably my favorite thing of the year. Quite honestly, while my budget is my least favorite thing to do as a board member, graduation is like my favorite thing to do. Just the celebration of what is like 13 years of kids putting in time, and all the teachers and administrators that put in time and invest into kids, and you get to see them. Like some of the smiles you see, like not only on the stage, but when you see kids go outside and meet up with their families and their parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles and stuff, like it's special moments. So Mr. August, I thought, had a wonderful speech. Mrs. Luffy talked. I thought she had great words. Mrs. Everly shook hands wonderfully as she handed out diplomas. So just congratulations to all of our graduates. To the retirees that we saw there tonight, like a lot of service there. But I wish all of them the best in their retirement. Hopefully they get to do whatever they want to do, whether that's travel or stay at home or do gardening or whatever it is. I hope they enjoy it. And the last thing I had, just a comment about the budget. I'm really hopeful. Like I have worries, and this is like the worst thing in the world. You say, like, I don't know if we taxed enough. We've taxed a good amount the last couple of years. There's no doubt about that. I have serious concerns, and it's not necessarily concerns that like we can fix as board members, but that Dr. Lyman, has said that bill right now that's with the state senators, that HB 1500, like that thing with cyber charter reform, like to anybody listening, if we have a massive live stream tonight, I don't know what it is, maybe 10 people, that bill would be tremendously impactful if there's some sort of reform that can pass for our school district, and in turn, taxpayers of our school district. And, I don't know, cyber charter, we have 263 kids, is that right? I'm looking at?
Yes, sir.
Total 263 kids that we're paying from our tax dollars to go toward cyber charter schools. And, just a couple months ago when the Inspector General report came out, I printed the whole thing and I read almost all of it, but I got tired of it. It was like 600 pages. But when you read through that and you look at the money that is spent, today I saw stuff that one of the cyber charters was notorious for like advertising at professional baseball teams. Like they have money to throw around that they're advertising it for the Pittsburgh Pirates and Philadelphia Phillies. Like we don't have that in Shippensburg. Like we don't advertise like that. We sometimes maybe struggle to advertise open positions, So that something coming out of that bill that would impact the formula for cyber charter would be great. And that would be such a less of a burden on taxpayers at the local level. So contact your local representatives and let them know how you feel about it. That's all I have.
Well said.
Thank you. Mr. Bard,
None tonight.
Dr. Lyman.
Levi, that was just a prelude because I'm going to talk a lot more about that. So it's House Bill 1500, and it has passed the House of Representatives, so we're probably halfway there. So the people to contact are your senators. In Shippensburg area, it's Senator Mastriano and Senator Rothman. You're at Goose Brothers and you have some extra time. Senator Rothman's office is right there in the same building. You can go in and talk to his staff and tell them that you want cyber charter reform to pass. Both Senator Mastriano and Senator Rothman are on the Education Committee, and that's where the bill is sitting right now. So we in Shippensburg are in a prime spot to influence two people that are on the committee where the bill is sitting right now. So this is our opportunity. I think Caleb has said in our budget meetings that it's upwards of $1 million we could save potentially. if something like this passes. It just puts us on equal footing with the cyber charters, where they follow. It's not just about the money, it's about reporting, it's about being open and transparent. It's just putting us on equal footing, and honestly saving taxpayer dollars instead of it being wasted on Pittsburgh Pirates sponsors. And nothing against, I love baseball, but so yeah, contact Senator Mastrano and Senator Rothman's office. If you don't get to talk to them personally, that's okay, because their staff do most of the work anyway. So I sent my emails today. I send an email to all the board members to recommend that they do it. Our huge YouTube audience, contact these folks. This would really make a big difference. And thanks to those who have informed us and kept us aware of all of this, so that we can push this through.
And if you want Dr. Lyman to send you their email addresses and phone numbers, he can do that.
I
You
can.
can find his email on the website.
Yeah.
Mr. Donovan.
Nothing tonight.
So I also had the opportunity to attend commencement night, and I've done so my last 4 years on the board, and it is my absolute favorite night of the year. I've watched these kids grow. I've babysat a ton of them. This is probably the first year that I've had some of the kids hug me on stage, and that, it hits a little bit differently. But speaking to a lot of them, spending the morning with them from 9 to 11:30, 12-ish, they're ready. They're nervous. They're anxious, and just the unknowns, but they're definitely up for the challenge. And I can't help but think about all of the decisions that we make as board members to see them cross that finish line, to make them contributors of our society in a positive way. To know we did that and we had a part in that, and to have a spot in their journey. I just love commencement night. So I just want to congratulate all of our graduates and wish them the best in their next endeavors. And the teachers that have served, that we saw tonight retiring. I did not have all of those teachers growing up, but, my art teacher, Miss Simmers, she has a special place in my heart. I had her in middle school, love her, and I wish nothing but the best for her and everyone in their next endeavors. And I hope that she and everyone else enjoys nothing but the best and gets to spend their time however they want that brings them joy. And again, with Dr. Lyman said of emailing your representatives, we can all be super bummed on how presidential elections go, but the real work happens at the state and local levels, and there is no greater change than your local levels and holding those individuals accountable for the impact that we want to see in our community. And we know that cyber charter reform is a huge it's a huge undertaking that's a burden on our district due to their lack of inaction ever since cyber charter really became a thing, and they just became, charging unrealistic rates. So making sure that we are contacting our local representatives to bring the change that represent us. So please reach out to those individuals. I think that's all I have for this evening. So, date savers, we have the next Committee of the Whole Planning and Action meeting on June 23rd.